The Tantra of Glorious Mahākāla. Homage to the body of enthralling Paramashva. Chapter 1. The Introduction. Thus did I hear at one time, at the southeastern charnel ground Attahasa, in the sandalwood grove called Joyous, the Vinayaka glorious Mahākāla was present in the palace where a multitude of male and female non-human beings gathered. At the time, in the midst of a retinue of cruel beings, he was known as Mahākāla, who controls the life breath of living beings. At the same time, in the Western world system, the king of horses, bringer of death, was surrounded by an assembly of the four great kings and the rest. He entered the absorption that tames arrogant beings, while using the hook mudra and reciting the mantra Om Vajrakroda Hayagriva Hom Hulu Hulu Hom Vam. Powerless to do otherwise, Mahākāla appeared before the king of horses, bringer of death, from his abode in the Attahasa charnel ground. "What can I do for you?" he asked, and politely offered his own mark, the essence of his life force. Om Vajra Mahākāla Kushim Kshetra Vignam Vinayaka Hom Hom Pat. This is Chapter 1 in the Tantra of Glorious Mahākāla, the Introduction. Chapter 2. The Worship Rite and Sadhana. Then King Virupaksha supplicated the king of horses, bringer of death, with the following verses. O wrathful Lotus Lord, please explain the secret practice for the terrible form of Mahākāla. Regarding the acts for practicing the Lord, Great Supreme Horse, please tell us about killing and severing the life force and the body, instructions for when the rite does not work, and the place of death, the Lord's signs, and casting hailstorms. Wrathful Lotus then gave the following teaching on the Black One's sadhana. For a mantrin who holds the samayas to protect the teachings of the Buddha, they should gather the accumulation of merit during an auspicious planetary conjunction and lunar day, in a place with a single tree such as a charnel ground, and perform Mahākāla's sadhana. Construct a square altar using soil from a mound or black soil, and sprinkle it with perfume, incense, and blood. In the middle, draw a triangle with a half moon, surrounded by a lotus with 8 petals. There should be a large skull in the middle of that, containing a barley offering and offering cake 1 cubit high, adorned with the 5 meats and various bodily essences. One should insert an arrow and a dark red cloth into it, along with a knife, a heart, and a small image of the deity. Set this out as the Lord's seat. Write the Lord's life force mantra on the inside of the skin of the Dharmaru, roll it up with a soul stone, and place it inside. Present an offering of incense and the daily barley. Set out the common offering to the 3 jewels. Visualize oneself on a lotus. Imagine light rays radiating from the tree at the heart. Make the Guru, the Buddha, and so forth appear right before oneself, and offer them 5 offerings. After the 7-fold purification rite, meditate on the 4 immeasurables, beginning with equanimity and so forth, and the syllables Vam, Ram, and Tree. Out of the syllable Hom on top of the lotus emerges Mahākāla, with a black face and 6 arms, holding a hooked knife, rosary, damaru, skull, spear, and noose in his right hands and left hands respectively. He is adorned with snakes and jewelry. He wears a multicolored garment on his lower body and a lower garment made of a tiger's skin. He has 3 fierce eyes and bares his fangs. His forehead is adorned with a drop of filth. Akshobhya's emanation body sits on his crown. Visualize him clearly before oneself, while performing the invitation, offering, and mantra recitation. Present gifts to Mahākāla using the Bali offering ceremony, and the like. The syllables of the vitality mantra emerge from the hum at the Lord's heart and circle clockwise as one recites the following mantra in continuous rounds. Om Vajra Mahākāla Kashim Kshetra Vignan Vinayaka Hom Hom Pat. An excellent recitation practice will result in signs that one has accomplished the Black One's Siddhi. This is Chapter 2 in the Tantra of glorious Mahākāla on the worship rite and sadhana. Chapter 3. Severing the life force from the body. Now I will teach the following. If one wants beings who destroy the Buddha's teachings or create obstacles for yogins to be liberated by Mahākāla, make a square altar again and place the skulls of a man and woman with no descendants, with wax effigies inside of them, inside of a fierce triangular diagram. Affix their name and clan name, and add the word kill or infect as appropriate. Set up the image of the Lord and the samaya substances, and place some in each of their mouths. Place powerful substances in a boar's skull, and set the continual and daily Bali offerings on the left and right. Perform the killing rite with the following mantra. Om Vajra Mahākāla Kashim Kshetra Vignan Vinayaka Hom Hom Pat. Om Mahākālaya Sasa no Pakarini Esa Apashkimalo Yam Idam Ratnat Rayaya Apakarinam Yadi Pratijnam Smarasi Tada Idam Dostam Ka Kahi Mara Mara Garhana Banda Hana Daha Pacha Dinam Ekena Maraya Hom Pat Hom Vinaya Kavilasha Tram Vi Tri Hum Ya Si Ma Bu Vinayaka. Create obstacles for the life force of so-and-so, whose name has been written, Ya Maraya, I implore you. Recite the fierce mantra while pelting them with the powerful substances. Do not speak for an entire week. At that point, the signs will be directly apparent. This is Chapter 3 in the Tantra of glorious Mahākāla on severing the life force from the body. Chapter 4. The concluding rite. Now I will explain the end of the rite, which is concluded with a fire offering. Generate Mahākāla with his retinue in the middle of a triangle of sarala pine branches. Place the effigy, Bali offering, and ritual substances in Mahākāla's mouth. Recite the mantra while performing the fire offering, and finish with the phrase Agne Jvala Ram. Let the ashes be taken away by a strong wind. The target of the rite will quickly come to ruin. This is Chapter 4 in the Tantra of glorious Mahākāla on the concluding rite. Chapter 5. The enhancing rite for when the rite does not work, and the mending rite. Next, I shall teach the following. If one performs the practice but it does not work, generate it in earnest once or twice more. If one does that and it still does not work, make an image of the black one out of the 3 soils, 3 bloods, and 3 types of poison, that is 1 cubit tall, and place it atop 2 switches, so that it hovers over the middle of the triangle. The painting, samaya substances, and soul stone are placed beneath one's own triangular cushion and should be covered with poison and thorns. Pelt it with powerful substances while reciting this mantra: Om Vajrakroda Hayagriva Hom Hulu Hulu Hom Pat Pat Hom Hom Akayaniv Nangi Vartesk Mishk Alaka Hamajavom. Signs that the rite has worked will become fully apparent. One is pelting it with powerful substances and reciting the mantra. After that, one should perform the mending ritual. Wash the painting, soul stone, and samaya substances with perfumed water and recite this mantra. Om Vajra Mahākāla Kashim Kashetra Vignan Vinayaka Hom Hom Pat Mend Svaha. Wash the statue of the Lord with perfumed water in the location where you have recited the mantra. Remove it from the middle of the triangle and place the enemy's name and clan name in the heart. Perform this practice for 7 days. Bring it to the enemy, and it will quickly destroy the designated target. This is Chapter 5 in the Tantra of Glorious Mahākāla on the enhancing rite for when the rite does not work and the mending rite. Chapter 6, a series of signs of accomplishment. Now I will teach the following. A raven will take flight and die, and tribal people, mendicants, spiritual friends, venerable ones, and masters will all perceive the Lord's light, sound, walled palace, and body before them. The being leading the enemy's army will be killed. Ordinary people will gain confidence. Lepers and beggars will arise, as will ravens that have alighted in a field. This is Chapter 6 in the Tantra of Glorious Mahākāla on a series of signs of accomplishment. Chapter 7, Hailstorms. Next, I will teach the following to perform a rite to make it hail. Draw a wheel with 4 spokes in the skull of a tribal person or a leper. Inscribe it with the seed syllables of the 5 classes of Nagas. The large spoke should bear the name and family names of the hail protectors and have the phrase, "Fall in this country," written on them. Write the mantras of the arrogant spirit beings on a wheel with 9 spokes outside of that. Write the name of the country and the wind heart mantra on the back side. Visualize yourself as Wrathful Lotus and strike their vital points using this mantra. Om Vajra Mahākāla Kashim Kashetra Vignan Vinayaka Hom Hom Pat. Torment the Naga's mind. Pu, create obstacles. Ya Krom Sha Ril Byo. Recite that mantra while pelting the skull with white and black mustard seeds, blood, and poison. If a gust of wind carries off the harvest, it is a sign that hail will fall in the enemy's country. If it does, it will bring ruin to the people. This is Chapter 7 in the Tantra of Glorious Mahākāla on hailstorms. Chapter 8. Then he gave the following definitive instruction. Marvelous ones gathered in this assembly, in the future when samaya holders perform this sadhana, they should maintain the samayas, uphold the vows, and diligently perform the Bali offerings. they should wear the samaya substances and soul stones on their body. After he said that, King Virupaksha, along with the rest of the assembly, rejoiced, promised to maintain Mahākāla's teaching, and then vanished. This concludes Chapter 8 in the Tantra of glorious Mahākāla. The text was translated by the Indian preceptor Amoghavajra and the Tibetan translator Purbu.